Hey beautiful people, welcome to my favorite channel here on YouTube, Draw Too Much, my drawing channel where I teach you guys all my different techniques in drawing and things like that. Today we're going to do something kind of cool. First off, I'm doing it a little different. You may hear a lot of noise around me and you're going to be hearing it through this full video, and that's because I've decided, yes, I need to work on these videos and get them online, but it's just such a gorgeous day out here in Great Falls, Montana, so I've brought all my equipment outside, microphone, laptop, and of course my iPad Pro, and I figured why not do this drawing outside here in this beautiful weather where I can enjoy the weather, get a nice bit of inspiration from the outdoors, being able to feel this nice breeze and stuff. So I apologize if you hear wind noise. It's a very windy day today. Hopefully I'm making up for it with this weird thing that we call a dead cat in the production world. We'll see if that helps. There you go. So there's my long intro. Today we're going to look at drawing in symmetry, okay? I may have talked about this before, or I may have done a drawing about symmetry before, but I'm going to show you now, since I'm doing things differently here on the iPad in comparison to the computer, I'm going to show you how I draw. First off, we're going to go over to Sketchbook, and we're going to do a symmetry drawing. Might not be really big and crazy, maybe simple, and then we're going to bring it over here into Procreate, and I'll show you how I handle the conversion, okay? It's a very, very fun thing to do to draw in symmetry, so let's go ahead and start by hopping over first into another amazing program, Sketchbook, okay? If you want to know anything about any of these programs I'm talking about, I'm doing a full series discussing each program or each app and about why I use each one, what I use each one for, how I choose to use it, why I like it, pros, cons, blah, 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 blah. You get the drift. So now we're going to hop into here because Sketchbook is the only program that I've seen that truly does drawing in symmetry very nicely. Okay, so we're over here, and I'm going to go ahead and make myself a new file. Now, my iPad's on my lap, so I'm going to be looking down a lot, so I apologize in advance for what you are going to see as I keep looking down at my iPad, and hopefully you can hear me okay, all right? And I can't really scoot my chair much closer because the table is going to hide my iPad. You may be hearing a bunch of thumps and things. I'm literally working off of lawn chair equipment, and you're just going to have to deal with it. So, okay, so got this app open here. I'm opening up my screen so I get it nice and big. I am going to switch over into my favorite mode here, which is going to be this beautiful thing where you can get to your size brush over here on the side, which is hiding behind my video, and of course the opacity down here on the bottom, and then finally the different options for the brushes and things like that. So what I'm going to do first is I need to turn on the symmetry tool. So I'm going to open this back up, and right here is my symmetry tool, and you can see it's turned on this axis, which I don't know if X, Y axis, I don't know. You can turn on all of them, and you can draw in any kind of design or thing. It's quite intuitive, quite fun. So, ooh, mailman's here. I can't wait. I got a package waiting. Coming from that mailman. I'm looking forward to that. Okay, so what I'm going to do for this video today is I'm going to start drawing in this symmetry using my pencil. And I don't need to do anything fancy. It's all about just getting a basic idea involved in my head. And so I like to do kind of like logos and things for sports teams and stuff like that. I really like that sports team logo look. I also draw a lot of angry-looking things. I've drawn angry-looking fish that I've gotten kind of known for, so maybe we'll go that route today. And maybe I'll show you how I split the symmetry from non-symmetry. Maybe we'll do that in a future video, and I think that would make it kind of fun too. So for right now, let's go ahead and just get right down to something. I have no idea what I'm going to draw. I do that a lot in these videos, and that's just because I'm a lazy bum. I don't think through all this stuff, and I like to just kind of wing it, because that's what I do, unlike other amazing people like Jazzer, who probably has a full idea of what he would like to do in all of his videos. Alright. So usually I start off with the mean eyes, and then I just kind of build out a structure. I admit I'm looking at this and now it's starting to look a little bit like a dog, so I kind of like the idea of a dog of sorts. You can move the symmetry line around. I am going to leave it in one place, but I am going to move the cursor up a little bit higher, which is that round circle thing, so that it doesn't get in the way of what I'm trying to do. I think I am going to try and bring the nose of this dog, which I've kind of been inspired in just these first couple seconds to try and do. Bring the nose really close toward us and push the face back, so we'll kind of go this route. Okay. And I'm just gonna build this up and see if I get something I like. Maybe if my line's a little bit too big, maybe I'll make it a little bit smaller. I didn't switch into this mode, so there we go. So that way I have the full canvas to work with. And maybe we'll open up the mouth, because I usually do it with the mouth open. Get some teeth drawn in here, like that. Maybe the gum line structure here, with a tongue coming down here, and back the other way. There we go. And get that covered there. Get the lip built up here. And maybe if we want to, we can start doing some very generalized shading. Now this brush, this pencil, I think is a little different than what it's supposed to be doing. So I'm going to reset it here and see if that helps. It's probably going to change a little bit. Much better. If you look at one of the previous videos that I've done so far in this series of What Do I Draw With, I did a video of showing you guys, or discovering with you guys, how to make brushes in this program, because I actually had no idea, and instead of deciding to learn about it and then come and teach you guys what I've learned, I decided, you know what, I'm just going to record it and we're going to learn it together, and that's exactly what we did. And I'm getting some comments that you guys had fun, or you thought I was crazy, which I'm totally down for. So you can see here, I'm just trying to build up a bit of a structure, trying to feel out maybe what would give this some life, building up shadow textures and things like that, so that I can just get a feel for a flow of what I want this guy to look like. Maybe we'll give him some Doberman Pinscher kind of ears. I feel like they need to be a lot longer. So in this case, what I'll do is we'll grab the canvas here, and I'm going to resize El Doggy, and I'm going to hit done, and then I'm going to turn my symmetry back on, and I'm going to get that line for the symmetry put right back there in the middle roughly, which, and like I said, very intuitive. It feels intuitive anyway. So we'll come up here. I want to get these ears nice and exaggerated high, but I want it to feel like maybe his ears are kind of going back a little. There's some wind in the microphone. I don't know if you can hear that or not. If not, good. There we go. So that kind of starts it. I don't feel like I like how it's looking just yet, so I am going to erase. Nice thing is it does erase on both sides. So maybe what I'll do instead is we'll take the ears and point them straight back, kind of more like this, and build up the structure. That mailman is just sitting there and tempting me. I got something really cool coming in the mail today for one of my other YouTube channels. And I've been waiting for it, and I know it's sitting in that truck somewhere, so it's going to be a good day today. Once I get this all finished up, maybe we'll give him like some munches out of the ears, like he's been in some dog fights or something. And if I like what I'm seeing, which I definitely think I do, then I'll continue to build off the structure a little bit and kind of flesh out the design a little. Like maybe I want him to look a little bit more cartoony, which I personally like to add the cartoony sense to things, even in this form. If I like what I got here, which I kind of do, I'm going to turn down my opacity on it so I can still see it in the background, and then I'll draw over top and kind of build it up a little bit more. I won't ink in this program to final, even though I probably could, and it might do okay. But you'll see either in this video or in a future video, maybe in this one, where I'm going to go ahead and take this and really start developing it out a little bit in another program, which is my favorite program called Procreate. And the reason why I like Procreate, and you can watch my videos because I made a video completely talking about why I love Procreate over this program, is that the one of the things that I really love is having very, very clean lines. And you can definitely get some really gorgeous clean lines in this program, but it really doesn't compare to what you can do in Procreate, because in Procreate I can adjust my line stabilization, and I can make it stronger. And you can do that in this program too, and it works sometimes and not others, and it's just not as intelligent as I would like it to be. So I stick with that program personally when it comes down to it. But when it comes to this, Sketchbook is excellent at exactly what it's called, Sketchbook. So I think of it like a sketchbook. I think of it as something that I can go in here, I can kind of sketch out my ideas, especially when it comes to this crazy world of symmetry, which I am absolutely in love with. I think that it is just so much fun drawing in symmetry, and it just brings out a really cool look for things. When it comes to drawing caricatures, I do not like drawing faces straight on. I like drawing them in a, what's the word I'm looking for? In a 3D or a 3/4 like this, where the face is, well, let me turn this way so you can hear me in the microphone, where the one eye is hiding behind the nose a little bit. I think that that is the best structure for a good caricature, good feeling caricature. That's what I learned from my days drawing caricatures out at Disney. And now, I really like how this looks. He looks kind of cool, kind of mean, and actually I like the eyes kind of feeling empty, so what I would probably end up doing is leaving them like that and maybe painting them yellow or orange or hot red or something, and then giving some things in there and kind of making them look a little, lack of a better term, demonic or maybe cyborgy or something like that. I think that that just makes for a really cool looking piece. I know when I'm beginning to get lazy because I make my brush strokes bigger. Instead of trying to get details with a little tiny pencil, I make my pencil marks a lot bigger. Which I think honestly loses something. If you want to see a guy who truly can do some amazing work with a pencil, look up Patrick Brown. Very, very, very popular artist. Did a lot of GTO stuff. If you is it GTO? Grand Theft Auto? GTA. Does a lot of Grand Theft Auto artwork. More of, I think he tried to get on the Grand Theft Auto team for artwork, and they didn't take him. I think that they lost their right arm when it came to that, because he's quite a excellent artist. And if you go look at his work, he knows how to use pencil lines, and he knows how to get really true depth out of pencil lines. Now, I'm a very firm believer of drawing with a good quality line weight. That's why I am desperate for pressure sensitivity, which this Apple Pencil with the iPad Pro is king of, and that's the reason why I barely even touch my Surface Pro anymore, because this machine truly just does everything I need, and it feels so. It feels like I'm working on my Cintiq. I feel like I brought my Wacom Cintiq, my big 21-inch screen, and I brought it out here. Humongous semi-trucks by here, so I apologize. But yeah, it feels like I brought my big Cintiq out here, and I'm drawing out here on on the garden table. Give him some big gnarly front incisors per se, and maybe a couple more here, and 2 more here, and then I'll give him some gums, so there's some connection here. He looks kind of like, right now. It's kind of like this, yeah. Big fangs right there. So I definitely need to kind of build up the structure of the bottom of the mouth so that that is either more feasible, or I need to do something about that because it doesn't feel quite right. We'll see about that in a second. This is the first video in a while that I've done a drawing for you guys here. I mean, we've been looking through all the different softwares and stuff, and I've enjoyed doing that with you. Now that we actually get to go and play in the app a little bit, now it's time to do some drawings, which may mean this might be a slightly longer video, but at the same time, hopefully, it's somewhat enjoyable. Thank you to all of you amazing supporters. I updated my Patreon page today, recorded a new intro video on the Patreon page, and did a bunch of stuff to get it up to date a little bit more. And thank you for everyone who's just been such a support. There are not a lot of rewards on there, as much as I would love. I would love to have t-shirts and things like that, but I haven't been able to do that in this time of my life just yet. That's something I would love to do in the future. I would love to be able to offer more caricatures up for sale and stuff. Oh, not for sale, but more caricatures as rewards and things, and I just haven't been able to do that either. It's just very difficult to keep up with some of that stuff. And yet you guys hop on there and you offer $1 a video, which just means so much to me, because there's a big lack of rewards on there. There's a humongous lack of rewards on there, which means that the people that are on there are truly just ridiculously giving spirits. And I know how hard it is to earn $1 these days. So thank you so very much. You're helping me out immensely. I mean that. I'm living with our in-laws right now as we're looking for a house and things, and you guys have just stepped up. So thank you so much. We are looking forward to finding our own home and starting a new life out here in Great Falls since we've moved from Florida. And it's so beautiful out here. I love Montana. So I'm just excited for us to get started with life and then start to figure out what we can do to make things better on these different channels, because I have so many different YouTube channels that I love to do videos on and stuff. So we got this great structure. It's starting to have some 3D effect. It's starting to come towards us a little bit, and starting to have that feel of dimension because of some of the shading and stuff. So it's really starting to pop a little bit, and that I love so far. Now, I don't need to go too much into detail here because this is going to get converted over here in just a second, and we're going to take it over into Procreate and start to do some stuff with it. But I do want to kind of flesh out the mouth just a little bit more, just to make sure that I got something reasonable. I'm probably not going to take this to completion per se, but I do want to give it just a little bit more structure and really kind of get just a little bit more feel on this guy. Because once I do send him over to Procreate, I want to make sure I got enough to work with where I'm not having as much of a guessing game on what I want to do. If I choose to make a change, I want to choose to make it because I feel like I can add to it, not because I feel like I have to think up an idea. So being able to do this here first and start getting shadows locked down and structure locked down is really, really going to help figure out the actual structure that I'm going to need to work with on the other side. That's definitely looking like some kind of dog's head. What I am going to do here real quick is I am going to move him up now. And actually, whoops. That's something interesting. Okay, for all of you guys who are here on Procreate, and I probably already know this and I've just forgotten how, but how do you take all of the layers in all of the different groups on the side here, which you can't even see, and I'm not sure why you can't see it. Let me see if I can move this over here real quick. That might help just a little bit. Sorry about that, guys. How do I take all these layers and move them all together? I find that this is a really annoying thing for me because I don't see any way to select more than one layer. And I thought I knew of a way to do that, but I don't know how to do that now. I'm just so used to Procreate and how easy it is to do it in Procreate. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the background layer here since I don't really need it. I will move this one, but teach me, you guys, how do you do it, how would you do it, and teach me in this moment. So I'm going to go ahead and turn symmetry back on, line it back up where I want to. There we go. I find that this channel goes multiple ways. One, it teaches me as you guys teach me, and then I teach you with what I know. So this is not just me teaching with my ultimate knowledge. This is definitely me sharing just some of the knowledge I have, and then you guys, we add in and we work together. And in this little area, we've created a major community of knowledge. I just made a video on graphic by Autodesk. And I mentioned in that video that I didn't know about how, if there was a way to do layers in graphic. And one of you amazing people, I'm sorry I don't know the name off the top of my head, I should have looked it up, but one of you amazing people left a comment and said, yes, you actually can put fonts, and I'm sorry if I didn't even mention that. I might not be thinking clearly. I'm going to repeat myself, and I'm sorry if I am repeating myself, but in the video, in the program graphic, I said I don't know if you can use different fonts other than the fonts that they provide. And this awesome person got on and said, yes, you can, here's how, and explained how. They did it cleanly and in a nice way. They weren't trying to be mean or anything like that. They weren't saying, you don't know your stuff, you shouldn't be sharing this information. They were teaching. And because of that, I was able to use that, and I literally used that on a commission just the other day. I worked on some stuff, was able to go get the fonts I needed, bring them into graphic, and their post, their comment on that video, due to my lack of knowledge, made it awesome. And that's a video that we can do in the future where we talk about that, and we can do that. So when you guys see something I'm missing and it's an opportunity to offer advice, go for it. Keep it clean. Make sure that all ears can enjoy reading it. All eyes can enjoy reading it without foul language or putting people down. And we're going to just continue to grow this. And this is going to continue to happen. It's going to be awesome. Another thing that we've done is we've created a brand new channel. A brand new Facebook group called Draw Too Much Artists Anonymous. And on there, we get to help each other out. We get to have a great time, and everyone supports each other. And it's super awesome. The things that we get to do together, and it's because we're a community here. We're not just me talking to you guys. I'm learning from you, you're learning from me, everyone's helping each other, and in the end we all succeed because we're all learning from each other. So I'm starting to kind of work on this, what I would call an anamorphed body, and that's kind of the idea that the body structure of this character is going to take on a bit of a human form. Some people would say demi-human. Other people would say anamorph or something like that. So there's a couple different names for it, but I do like animals in human bodies, and you can see that through quite a large series of my videos where I have drawn animals in human body form before, and it's a lot of fun to build up those structures and do stuff like that. So I'm just very, very, very quickly throwing together the body structure that I think I'm looking for here. Grab my eraser. Okay. Back to my pencil. And if I want to, I could do some more shading, but I think I'm starting to feel good enough about this where I can take it over to the next program, okay? So, pretty cool looking dog. I'm actually very pleased with that so far. Let's go ahead and take it over in conversion and start to look at what we can do with it on the other side now. Because yes, I could ink it and color it here, but I still don't like... If I wanted to vectorize this, if I wanted to turn this into a vector form on my computer, I don't want squiggly lines. I don't want lines that are decided for me, and that's what this program does sometimes, and I'm not a big fan of that. So let's figure out how we can take it over. So I'm going to jump into my gallery. I'm going to save this sketch. Okay, once it's saved, you can see it here. Let's see, I need to... Bear with me just a second here. Oh, maybe I'll just do share, excuse me. Share, and I'm just going to save the image directly to my iPad here. Okay, now we'll get out of here and we'll jump into Procreate. Alright, and in Procreate, I'm going to go ahead and import a flat image. And I'm going to go to Photos, All Photos, and I'm going to grab that dog that I drew. Size it up to where I like, and I am going to give myself just a little bit of room on the sides here, because that's going to play a big role. And then the first thing I do here, and sadly this is where things get a little lame, and I'm really bummed. They should just put this that option to do symmetry in this program. If they do that, I'd be super pleased. But because they don't do that, I have to go like this, and I have to say, okay, let's take a new layer, and I'm going to draw a line. And there's a cool thing that you can do in this program. I'll show you here. I'm just going to grab a color. I want to give myself a line that I can go off of. And I'm just going to come straight down, and I'm going to keep holding. And as I keep holding, it switches into this vectored line, or just a straight line that I can choose. So I'm going to center it on the center of the image and release. Okay? And if I want to, I could even like maybe go in the middle here, come up towards the top, hold it until it clicks into place, and then put it there and just extend my line out a little bit so I can make sure I know where the center of my artwork is. Okay? Now, I'm going to take my first layer, and I'm going to drop its opacity down. I'm going to make a new layer, and then you're going to hang out with me a little bit longer while I go ahead and ink this. I'm going to use my technical pen, and you can see my streamlines turned all the way up. Remember that you can take a look at my video on creating brushes in Procreate. It's only a couple episodes back, and it gives you a full walkthrough on what you can do with brushes here in Procreate, especially with how to better stabilize the lines. And using Streamline is one of the key areas that you're going to need to make sure that your line is really, really stabilized. I'm going to go ahead and grab my ink, and I'm going to come in here, and just on one side, I'm going to begin drawing this out. Now, some of you guys may already know what I'm doing here. You're getting the drift. Fast forward if you want to. But the long story short is I'm going to take this and I'm going to completely ink one side of this commission here in this program. And I'm going to be very quick about it as much as I can be. And the thing is, I'm not going to try and fast forward this in post or anything. You guys are along for the ride. So if you want to, I don't judge you one bit. Fast forward and just scoot through all this junk, and let's get on to the next part if you want to. But I'm going to hang out here and enjoy doing this, and share a couple of my inking techniques with you as I go through this. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I will do my best to answer them in future videos and in whatever else I can do. And of course, learn from you guys if you have any good information to provide. I usually ink with a very heavy line on the outside and then a very thin line on the inside. I really like how that seems to give a very dynamic structure to an image. And you'll see as I keep going here. Now, when I say that I use a thick and thin line, I don't mean that that line that's thin on the inside is a single thinness. I still love having tapering and structure on lines, period. Everything needs to have a flow to it, and everything needs to feel like it's structured. And the best kind of line you can ever give yourself that I think is very, very important is one that is very carefully thought out in one stroke. So as you draw, focus on getting crisp line in one stroke. If you can do a full part of a face in one stroke, do it. It's much, much cleaner than multiple strokes. But then in second to that, really focus on your pen pressure as you go through it. Where can you go thick and where can you go thin on something to give that line more depth? And that's where I was talking about Patrick Brown and how he does some of his penciling lines. If you look at some of the details that he puts in his stuff, it's extremely detailed because he takes into account his initial pencil sketches. As he is sketching out in pencil, he's taken some of those pencils and scraping out thicker lines in key places and then thinner lines in other places. And then when he draws it in or inks it in, he's focused on where those are, because depth within line makes a cartoon, makes a caricature, makes a piece of artwork, hands down. It is the crux of what you definitely want to be looking for in your artwork. I do have an older video that's on my advanced tutorials on my website, drawtoomuch.com. And if you go there and you buy that sucker, that will definitely cover a lot of stuff. It's an older video. It will be hopefully updated one day, maybe with some newer content, just so it's up to date, because right now that video is back from my old days when I wasn't even Draw Too Much, and it was one of many of the videos that are on there. It just needs to be updated. It's timed. There's a certain name for that. It's time-sensitive kind of material type stuff, and just needs to be recreated in a more professional way. But the tutorial is still excellent. It still covers a lot of details when it comes to inking. And I think it's called proper inking, and then there's another one called proper pre-sketching. Both of those are excellent if you're trying to learn how to properly do digital artwork and ink with structure and stuff. And that would be something definitely to look at, and you can find it on drawtoomuch.com, or for right now, at this point in time, you can go to Patreon and you can become a patron at the $3 level, and you get all of those advanced tutorials for free. You can go and download them all. We have a coupon code set up there, and if you use that coupon code, you can go and literally buy all of the tutorials, use that coupon code, it's 100% off. But you have to go and donate at the $3 level to get those on Patreon. Okay, so structuring is starting to look pretty good. I'm not doing any vectoring as of yet, and when I mean vectoring, you can't vector in this program, but you'll see in a second. When I shade, I like to shade in vector dagger strokes, and you'll see what that looks like here in a minute as I keep fleshing this guy out. If you don't know what dagger strokes are, or rat's tails, that is a term that's used in airbrushing, and it's a form of learning how to move your airbrush so that you get a really clean line that comes to a nice solid taper at the end of one of your paint sessions. And it's very, very beautiful technique that everyone should learn, not just in airbrushing, obviously, because airbrushing is a gorgeous talent too, but also in especially in doing artwork such as this. So you can see it's really nice to kind of only have to work on one side here, but you'll see once I actually convert it and move it over and basically replicate it to the other side, that it's going to maybe not perfectly match up, and we may have to make some adjustments. And you'll see that as we get closer to it. I'm going to move this tooth in slightly, and I'm also going to drop in a shadow from the upper lip so that it really has a lot of depth to it, hopefully. And then in the bottom teeth, I think I'm just going to do a couple quick little structures here. And I know that's not really the shape of the bottom bicuspids of an animal, but I'm going with it anyway because he's mean looking. He's raw. So I'm just choosing my battles carefully, trying to stay within my line of symmetry as much as possible. Let's zoom in here and get this tooth just right. And gums, and the other tooth, and one more tooth. So there you go. That's looking really, really great. Lots of great structure going on there. In just a second, I'll probably deepen some of the side of that face there so it pops off the neck a bit more. But we're getting closer to what I'm looking for here. Let me build up this collarbone structure here. Okay. And maybe a neck structure coming down to the collarbone. I'll keep that nice and thin. Okay, now let me quickly try to build up some chain links here, which I have not really focused on drawing chain links, so I'm certain that I'm not very good at it, nor do I care, because I rarely use them in my artwork. But for this dog, I am going to try and structure these guys up here. So I'm building the structure, and then I'll erase the excess that isn't working for me. And thankfully, because I'm drawing in symmetry, I only have to do 1/2 the chain. I actually did a caricature, and it's probably here on YouTube. It would not surprise me. I actually did a drawing just like this one with a dog with a chain around his neck, and he was quite ferocious looking. If I'm correct, I may have done that on my phone in Sketchbook. And if it wasn't on my phone, it might have been on my old Galaxy 10.1. Excuse me while I readjust. My foot has fallen completely to sleep right now. My foot and my leg. Oh, I bumped something. Ah! Oh, flip-flop fell off. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, my gosh. I sound like Jose Jalapeno. I'm Jose Jalapeno. Oh. Ooh, good heavens. Ha, 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 ha. Okay. Oh, that's gonna stink when it wakes up, man, you know? I'm gonna feel every little jitter of that foot in here in any second now. So, just gonna keep thinking on how I want to build this. There it goes! Ooh, don't move. Don't move. Don't move. Don't move. Okay. So, obviously, this chain is going to cross over here and is going to link to itself in the end, which I may not show in this video. I may show that in a future video of how to break from symmetry. That stinks! Ah. Okay, let me quickly now try and erase some of the inside stuff here. Ah, so sleepy. Foot seed, so sleepy. And let me make sure that my streamline's turned all the way on here. Okay, so that way I get a nice, clean, even erase mode here. And the side of my leg is like right on the side of the chair, so it's like locked into it, so I barely even move, and it's just like crying at me. It's kind of evil. Okay, let's see. We'll go this way. And connect that link there. I'll just fill that out so I don't have to worry about that. This one I think goes this, no. How did I draw that link? Ah, here's how I drew it. Okay, that link is done. This one now is over here. Okay. And coming into the collarbone now. I'm going to have to erase the collarbone. Nope, that's not it. So this one's going to be a bit more difficult. That should look something like this. Okay, oh, and this comes down here. So I think that this chain needs to go this way. And this needs to come down. What would you guys think about tutorials just on doing stuff like this? Drawing chains and drawing like braids and things like that. That seems to be something that we face every day as caricaturists. If that's something that would interest you, let me know in the comments below. That would help me out a lot, so I can think of more content to come up with. Okay, and let's do this chain up here. I'm going to obviously erase the neck behind there, and this right here showing where that's going. And I think that looks a little rough. It looks really rough, but looks rough. Never mind. And then finally with this here, I do want to put maybe a chain link here, just a small one, and then maybe a half of a dog pendant there or something. Okay, so we got half this drawing done. I've done it on its own layer. You can look at the video that's a couple episodes back that's talking about big trucks driving by. That's talking about how to work with layers, just basics for beginners. And if you work in different layers, then you should be able to turn off the layers in the background, and you will have what you need to be able to properly replicate this. So now I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it. Now that it's duplicated, now I'm going to go ahead and select it. I don't think I need to select it though. I think I just need to make sure I have the layer there, and then hit the arrow button, and then right here on the bottom, which I guess you can't see. There it is. You can simply you hit this little door tool here on the bottom, and that will flip the artwork over. And I'm going to go ahead and drop this back down. Here we go. And now I'm just going to move this doggy from one side to the other side over here. And we just have to get this alignment as close as possible here. And if we get it just right, it should link up somewhat close. As you do this, you may find where there are some mistakes. And what you might be able to do is take this and you can rotate it. And you can rotate the artwork like so that we can like connect the bottom line there, and then kind of shrink it down and connect the top line up here. My father-in-law's working over here. That's what that sprinkler is. And we're going to get this just right. This is kind of a very sensitive part here, because you got to get it just right. And there's no absolute... Oh, did I get it? There's no absolute method to properly get it. Now that I'm done and I release it, I feel like the dog feels like it's squished a little. So that might be something that I would adjust in post. What I can also do is I can merge my layers together. Now that I can see it, I can turn off that structure and look at how his face is. It looks okay. It looks alright. It's not too bad. But maybe if I feel like it's just not quite what I want, I can break symmetry, and I can select just the face of the dog. Kind of like this. Coming down through the neck. Oh, I didn't get that neck. So let me back up here. Hang on. Okay, go grab my selection tool. I'm going to grab the neck structure as well. I'm going to grab this part of the neck structure, there. And then now I can take the dog's whole face and just either make it bigger, or what I like to do is stretch it out just a little bit, which I think will help with the structuring that I was feeling just isn't quite fitting. And if you want to break symmetry, which I know I was going to mention in a future video, I mean, you could do whatever you want to break symmetry and give the dog a bit more structure in another way. So I think that works well. And I think we're going to end this video here, and what I'll do is in the next video, maybe I'll color this guy up, and we'll see what I do with the color. I think that would be a great way to start in our next couple episodes, where we do some pieces and maybe actually take them somewhere into color and stuff and discuss some of those details. And once again, I have a very difficult time choosing between how to give you guys advanced tutorials or the free stuff that I do here. So your help on Patreon is a humongous help. I gotta admit, if I got enough people coming into Patreon and helping me out, there's no need to make advanced tutorials. I can share all of this information with you guys here on YouTube, which would be wonderful. But it does require supporters, and admittedly, since I don't have any rewards, it requires very selfless supporters. You know, people who just want to see more content here on YouTube, and so they're willing to provide the finances needed to continue this, you know, and so I don't have to try to make more advanced stuff to pay the bills for the wife and stuff. So that's what's up. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, you guys. You are amazing and beautiful people. We'll come back here in another episode and put some color on this guy and start to give him a bit of depth. It's going to get interesting and a lot of fun. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I will see you next time on another video right here on Draw Too Much. Thanks for hanging outside with me today. It's been fun.